This morning around 10 a.m. we had some huge breaking news from the mayor's office in Medellin. This is going to make a lot of people, especially the locals, extremely happy because this has been talked about for a long time, but the verdict has finally been handed down. A while ago, Fico Batman Gutierrez gave an interview saying that Medellin does not want any more negative tourists. And by negative tourist, he meant those that come for drugs and women. And this law that is passed, effective today, deals with both those issues. So before I go into explaining the details of these laws that Fico has just passed, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about why these have come about. If you didn't know, unfortunately, there's already been a handful of Americans caught in the city with underage girls. And this hit breaking point this past weekend when an American was caught in a hotel with a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old. Horrible stuff. It's a really sad situation because many of these children, they're sold against their will. If you watch my video of when I went to the orphanage and asked a few questions about how the children ended up in the orphanage, many of them are actually taken from their parents and placed there because their parents have tried to sell them into exploitation.
Some of them don't have parents.
Okay, but
some others do have parents, but it's almost the same. Not have because they sell them.
Yeah.
They
sell them.
Yes, like for sexual something like this. So that's why.
Okay, so that's the reason why you were telling me that we can't show the faces and stuff.
You cannot show the faces
because
some of them. Some of them are hiding from their families.
That's why it's so horrible that people will fly to this country to take advantage of people like this who have no way of, getting out of it or defending themselves. So that's the reason for these crazy new laws. And the first law is that prostitution is no longer legal in the main tourist areas of Parque Poblado, Provenza, and Parque Lleras. In those three areas, public places, it will no longer be accepted. So to make it clear, completely clear, this is in no way, shape, or form a widespread ban on prostitution. Fico himself actually said that that's not what he's trying to do, and he can't because prostitution in the Colombian constitution is actually protected. So whatever he does, he can't ban it. His next best step is remove it from public places. So that's what he's done now. So if you come to Medellin and you go to these places like Lleras, where usually you go on any day of the week, any night of the week, I should say, and it's just filled with trash bags and prostitutes, you're not going to see that anymore. And police are going to be out in force, enforcing it to the T. I'm sure a lot of locals are going to be rejoicing about this law because if you didn't know, about 10 years ago, before the whole sex tourism thing became a craze and YouTube and people started flocking to Medellin for just this, Parque Lleras used to be like Provenza. It used to be the cool, trendy spot where people used to go for dinner with their families, where they used to go for a couple drinks with their friends. It was super, super cool. And now it's become super, super trashy, and Colombians basically avoid this place like the plague. So they're going to be really happy to have some of their places back in the city and to be able to enjoy them with their friends and families again. With the prostitution being banned in these public places, he said, we're going to try it out for 6 months. I'm not really sure why the 6-month rule, why he picked that number, but does that mean that after 6 months, he's just going to lift it and all these areas are going to be crowded again? So that's why I'm stumped with this 6-month rule. I don't really know where that came from. The number 2 law has to do with opening hours of bars and clubs selling alcohol in these regions, these public places. They have been limited and they must now close at 1 a.m. This rule is a bit strange. I didn't really understand why. I'm assuming it's because maybe these clubs and bars in these areas, some of them acting as fronts for sex trafficking. He wants to limit their opening hours so that more people don't go there. I'm not really sure. Maybe you have an idea for why this 1 a.m. rule has come in. Just leave it in the comments. But yeah, that's the rule now. Whereas previously they were running to a 4 a.m., 5 a.m., even later, some of them. I just need a little bit of your time to explain something very close to my heart. What you can actually do is you can sponsor an orphan from the orphanage that I went to about 3 or 4 months ago and I actually shot a video there. You can sponsor an orphan for just $360 a year, which for all of us is basically nothing, but for these kids, it can really change their lives. I'm already sponsoring sponsoring a kid. My girlfriend's already sponsoring a kid. If you want to get involved, click the first link in the description. It's going to take you to this page. Just scroll down to here and go donate monthly. You can click the option that you want and just follow the steps to make your payment. It's going to make a huge, huge difference to kids' lives and hopefully give them a chance at a much better future. If you do end up donating, just leave it in the comments. I'd love for this video to be full of comments of people who have sponsored a kid to motivate and inspire others to do the same.